Ladies and gentlemen, let's make one thing very clear. Being a smart woman is not about how many degrees you have, how perfect your life looks, or how well you manage every situation. It goes much deeper than that. It is about how you carry yourself, how you think, the decisions you make, and the kind of life you are building for yourself. A truly smart woman knows that intelligence is not only about knowledge. It is also about self-awareness, emotional strength, good judgment, and knowing what deserves her time and energy. Today, I want to share 7 important principles that define truly smart women. These principles are not simply about surviving life or getting through difficult days. They are about helping you grow, build confidence, earn genuine respect, and create a life that feels like your own. And stay with me, because some of these lessons may sound simple at first, but once you truly understand them, they can completely change the way you see yourself. The first thing you need to understand is that confidence matters enormously. But here is the truth. Confidence is not something you are simply born with. It is something you build over time. Every time you speak up for yourself, every time you take action even though you are afraid, and every time you trust yourself to deal with whatever comes next, you are strengthening that confidence. Smart women are not women who never question themselves. They have doubts too. They have moments when they feel uncertain, nervous, or afraid. The difference is that they refuse to let those feelings control their decisions. They keep moving. They learn from mistakes. They remind themselves that fear does not always mean stop. Sometimes fear simply means grow. And that shift in thinking can change everything. The second principle is learning how to control your reactions. A smart woman does not allow every emotion, every insult, or every unexpected situation to immediately control her behavior. She understands that there is power in creating a small space between what happens and how she responds. Instead of reacting instantly, she pauses. She thinks. She observes what is really happening. Then she responds with clarity instead of chaos. This does not mean she ignores her feelings or pretends that nothing bothers her. It means she understands her emotions without allowing them to make every decision for her. She listens to her instincts, but she also uses judgment. She knows when something feels wrong, and she pays attention to that feeling instead of constantly dismissing herself. At the same time, she does not make every decision based on temporary anger or fear. She gives herself time to understand the situation. This is one of the quiet differences between emotional strength and emotional impulsiveness. Anyone can react. Real strength is knowing when not to. And once you learn this skill, people begin to notice something different about you. You become harder to manipulate. You become calmer under pressure. You stop giving people access to your emotions whenever they want it. Your presence becomes more grounded, and because of that, you naturally earn more respect wherever you go. Remember this, you do not have to respond to everything immediately. Sometimes your greatest power is simply taking a breath and choosing your response carefully. The third principle is one that too many women overlook until life forces them to understand it. Financial independence is essential. If you want real freedom, you cannot build your entire security around another person taking care of you financially. This does not mean you need to become extremely wealthy or have millions sitting in a bank account. It means you need to understand your own money. You should know where your money is going, how much you are saving, what you are spending, and how you are preparing for your future. You should understand the difference between what you want today and what you may need tomorrow. A smart woman does not avoid financial conversations because they seem complicated. She learns. He asks questions. She becomes more comfortable with managing her own resources. She understands that money is not simply about buying things. It can also represent choices, security, preparation, and freedom. Financial dependence can limit your options, especially when you feel that you cannot leave an unhealthy situation because you have no other way to support yourself. That is why learning about money is not selfish. It is responsible. Even small steps matter. Saving consistently matters. Learning how budgeting works matters. Understanding investments and long-term planning matters. You do not need to know everything overnight. You simply need to begin. And here is something worth remembering. The smartest financial decision you can make is often becoming informed before making major decisions. Knowledge gives you options, and options give you freedom. The next principle is one that can completely transform your life once you truly master it. Setting boundaries and actually enforcing them. A smart woman is not someone who tries to make everyone happy. She does not automatically say yes simply because someone asks. She does not allow guilt to control every decision, and she certainly does not keep giving her energy to people who repeatedly disrespect her, manipulate her, or take advantage of her kindness. She understands that being kind does not mean being available to everyone all the time. She knows that saying no does not make her cruel. It means she understands her limits. She knows her values, and she pays attention when something crosses those values. This is where many people struggle. They set a boundary, but then they feel guilty for maintaining it. They explain themselves again and again. They make exceptions. They allow the same behavior to continue. But a boundary without action is only a request. A smart woman learns to follow through. If someone repeatedly crosses a line, she changes her level of access to her life. She does not need to scream. She does not need to create drama. Sometimes the strongest response is simply stepping back. The moment you stop allowing people to constantly cross your boundaries, something inside you begins to change. You become more confident. You become more peaceful. You stop wasting energy proving your worth to people who refuse to respect it. And if you remember only one thing from this part, remember this: protecting your peace is not weakness. It is self-respect in action. And finally, truly smart women never stop learning. They understand that the world is always changing. Technology changes, people change, opportunities change, relationships change. Even the way we understand ourselves continues to evolve. If you stop learning, you can quickly become stuck in old beliefs, old habits, and old ways of thinking. A smart woman stays curious. She reads, she asks questions, she listens to different perspectives. She learns from her mistakes instead of allowing them to become permanent labels about who she is. She does not believe she has to know everything. In fact, she is comfortable saying, "I don't know yet," because she understands that not knowing something is not failure. Refusing to learn is the real problem. Keep developing your mind, keep improving your skills, keep discovering what you are capable of doing. And remember, becoming a smarter woman is not about competing with every other woman around you. It is about becoming a stronger and wiser version of yourself. Build your confidence, learn to manage your reactions, take responsibility for your financial future, protect your boundaries, stay curious, keep growing. These qualities may not always make the loudest impression in the room, but over time they create something much more powerful. A woman who trusts herself, respects herself, and has the courage to build a life according to her own values. And that is the kind of intelligence no certificate, title, or outside approval can ever fully measure. A smart woman reads, listens, asks questions, and stays open to new ideas. She does not allow pride or ego to stand in the way of her growth. She understands that there is always something new to discover, something new to improve, and something new to understand. She adapts when life changes. She adjusts when something no longer works. And she keeps working toward becoming the strongest and best version of herself. So here is the truth. Being a smart woman does not mean knowing everything. It means choosing to build your confidence, developing emotional intelligence, taking responsibility for your financial future, creating healthy boundaries, and making a commitment to keep learning. It means believing that you are capable of more and that you deserve to create a life that makes you proud. The choice is yours. Are you ready to become the smartest, strongest, and most unstoppable version of yourself? Because that woman is not somewhere far away. She is already inside you. You simply have to give her permission to step forward. And remember this, because it may change the way you see confidence forever. Confidence is not about always feeling completely sure of yourself. It is about deciding that whatever happens, you will find a way through it. The smartest women do not sit around waiting until they feel perfectly prepared. They take the first step, and confidence begins to follow. Every time you move forward, even while you feel fear or uncertainty, you give yourself new evidence that you are capable. That is how real confidence is created. Not overnight, not through pretending, through action. Think about it for a moment. When was the last time you did something you had never done before? Maybe you spoke up during an important meeting. Maybe you went somewhere by yourself. Maybe you made a difficult decision that frightened you. At that moment, you may have felt nervous. You may have wondered whether you were making the right choice. You may even have felt completely unprepared. But you did it anyway. And what happened? You survived. Maybe everything did not go perfectly, but perfection was never the most valuable part of that experience. What you gained was far more important. You gained evidence. You proved to yourself that you can handle uncomfortable situations. You discovered that fear can exist without stopping you. That is confidence. Confidence is not simply a personality trait that some women are lucky enough to have and others are not. It is a skill. And just like any other skill, it becomes stronger through practice. One of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming that confidence comes after success. They think, once I succeed, then I will finally believe in myself. But that is not how it works. Confidence is built through action. It comes from showing up for yourself, keeping promises to yourself, and doing things that once seemed too difficult. If you want to become more confident, begin by taking small, healthy risks every day. Do something slightly outside your normal routine. Speak when you would normally stay silent. Make a decision instead of endlessly questioning yourself. Every small act of courage teaches your mind something powerful. I can do hard things. Your brain is designed to protect you. It does not automatically care about your dreams, your goals, or the possibilities waiting for you. Its first job is to keep you safe. That is why uncertainty can feel uncomfortable. When you step outside your comfort zone, your mind may immediately start producing questions. What if I fail? What if people judge me? What if I embarrass myself? What if I am not good enough? But smart women learn an important lesson. Thoughts created by fear are not automatically facts. They are thoughts. They are signals. And sometimes they are simply fear trying to keep you in a familiar place. So what do you do when those thoughts appear? You do not spend hours arguing with them. You move with them. You take the first step anyway. You act before you feel completely ready. And when your mind tells you to stop, you remind yourself, I do not have to feel ready. I only have to begin. That is why confidence and courage are connected. Courage often comes first. Confidence comes afterward. Confidence is what you build when you repeatedly prove to yourself that fear does not have to make your decisions. This is something you should remember the next time you are standing at the edge of something new. You do not need to eliminate fear before moving forward. You simply need to stop giving fear the final vote. That one change can completely alter the direction of your life. Now let's talk about failure. Because failure is one of the biggest reasons women hold themselves back from becoming more confident. Somewhere along the way, many of us were taught that failure is embarrassing. We were taught that getting something wrong means we are not good enough. We were taught to avoid mistakes instead of learning from them. But truly smart women see failure differently. They understand that failure is not the opposite of success. In many cases, it is part of the road that leads to success. Every mistake gives you information. Every setback teaches you something. Every rejection can reveal a direction you may not have considered before. Failure becomes useful when you stop treating it as a judgment of your worth and start treating it as feedback. Think about the most confident woman you know. She probably was not born with perfect confidence. She has faced disappointment. She has made mistakes. She has walked into situations where she did not know what would happen. She has probably questioned herself many times. But she continued. She learned. She adjusted. She got back up. And every challenge she moved through gave her another reason to trust herself. That is what real confidence looks like. It is not a life without fear. It is a life where fear no longer controls every choice. It is being able to say, this is difficult, but I can handle difficult things. And once you begin thinking that way, your relationship with challenges starts to change. So how do you build this kind of confidence in your everyday life? You practice it. You speak up even when your voice is not completely steady. You make decisions without feeling the need to explain every detail to everyone around you. You allow yourself to take up space without constantly apologizing for existing. You stop shrinking your opinions simply because someone else might disagree. And most importantly, You stop waiting for someone to give you permission to become the woman you want to be. Confident women understand that approval is not a requirement for action. They trust themselves enough to begin. They know that not everyone will understand their choices, and they have made peace with that. Another important part of confidence is learning to stop comparing yourself to other people. The moment you begin measuring your worth against someone else's appearance, career, relationship, lifestyle, success, or social media image, you hand part of your power away. Smart women understand that confidence does not come from constantly proving that they are better than someone else. It comes from knowing who they are and continuing to grow from there. Social media cannot give you lasting self-worth. Compliments cannot create permanent confidence. Approval from other people can feel good, but it cannot become the foundation of your identity. Real confidence comes from within. It comes from knowing that you have value even while you are still growing, learning, and making mistakes. Confidence is not about waking up every morning and feeling amazing about yourself. Some days you will doubt yourself. Some days you will feel uncertain. Some days you will wonder whether you are making the right decision. That does not mean your confidence has disappeared. It means you are human. The real question is what you do next. Do you allow that doubt to stop you, or do you take another step anyway? Do you allow one mistake to define you, or do you learn from it and continue? Do you wait for everyone to approve of you, or do you decide that your own belief in yourself matters too? Every time you choose action over fear, you strengthen yourself. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build trust with yourself. Every time you face something you once believed you could not handle, you expand your understanding of what you are capable of. And that is how confidence grows, slowly, quietly, through ordinary decisions that nobody else may even notice. So if you have been waiting for the perfect moment to become more confident, stop waiting. Start where you are, use what you have, take one small step today, because the woman you want to become is not created by one giant decision. She is created by the small choices you repeat when nobody is watching. And if you remember only one thing from everything we have discussed, let it be this. You do not have to become fearless to become confident. You simply have to keep proving to yourself that fear will not decide your future. What once felt impossible becomes possible because you kept going. And the stronger you become, the less power fear has over your decisions. That is when you begin stepping into your full strength. That is when you stop living according to everyone else's expectations and start living according to your own values. And that is when you become truly difficult to stop. Smart women understand that boundaries are not walls designed to keep everyone away. They are clear guidelines that show people how they expect to be treated. They do not create boundaries because they hate people. They create them because they value their peace, their time, their energy, and their emotional well-being. Too often, women are taught to keep everyone happy, to say yes when they really want to say no, to avoid difficult conversations, and to put everyone else's needs before their own. But here is the truth. If you do not decide your boundaries for yourself, other people will decide them for you. And when that happens, you can slowly become drained, frustrated, resentful, and completely exhausted. Boundaries begin with respect, and that respect has to start with you. If you constantly ignore your own limits, you cannot expect everyone else to magically recognize them. Many women feel guilty when they start creating boundaries because they believe choosing themselves makes them selfish. But smart women understand something very different. Boundaries are an act of self-care. They are a clear statement of self-respect. They tell the world, this is what I am comfortable accepting, and this is what I am not willing to accept. That is not cruelty, that is clarity. And once you understand this, setting boundaries becomes much easier. So how do you actually begin setting stronger boundaries? Start by becoming honest with yourself about your limits. Ask yourself what consistently drains your energy. What situations leave you feeling disrespected? What behavior are you tolerating even though you know it is hurting you? What are you doing simply because you are afraid someone might become upset with you? If something repeatedly leaves you uncomfortable, exhausted, pressured, or taken for granted, that may be a clear sign that a boundary needs to be created. Do not ignore that feeling. Your discomfort is giving you information. The next step is communicating your limits clearly and calmly. Wise women do not give long explanations for every decision. They do not apologize 10 times for protecting their time. They do not feel required to prove that their needs are reasonable. Sometimes the strongest response is simple. I can't do that. That doesn't work for me. I need some time for myself. I'm not available for that. Notice how simple those statements are. There is no dramatic speech, no long excuse, no guilty explanation, just a clear answer. And guess what? That answer is enough. You do not need everyone to agree with your boundary for your boundary to be valid. You only need to be clear about what you are willing to accept. This is where many women discover a powerful truth. Protecting your peace does not require permission from everyone around you. The hardest part of boundaries is usually not saying them. It is enforcing them. Because once you start changing the way you allow people to treat you, some people will react. People who benefited from your lack of boundaries may suddenly become uncomfortable. They may complain, they may push back. They may try to make you feel guilty. They might even tell you that you have changed. But remember this, someone being unhappy with your boundary does not automatically mean your boundary is wrong. Sometimes, their reaction simply shows that they were comfortable with the version of you who never said no. Do not confuse their discomfort with your wrongdoing. A wise woman understands that boundaries are not about controlling other people. They are about controlling her own choices, access, time, and responses. She does not simply announce a boundary and then hope everyone follows it. She decides what she will do if that boundary is ignored. If someone repeatedly disrespects your limits, you reduce their access to you. If a friend constantly unloads every problem onto you, but never respects your time or listens when you need support, you do not have to answer every call. If a coworker repeatedly tries to push additional work onto you, you can calmly say, "That is not something I can take on right now." You do not have to become aggressive. You simply have to become clear. And this is where your life can begin changing faster than you expect. Now let's talk about guilt. Because guilt is one of the biggest reasons women struggle to maintain boundaries. When you have spent years putting everyone else first, choosing yourself can feel uncomfortable. You might immediately wonder whether you are being selfish, rude, difficult, or uncaring. You may feel guilty for saying no, even when you have a perfectly valid reason. But let me remind you of something important. Your needs matter. Your time matters. Your energy matters. Your peace matters. You are allowed to protect them. Anyone who genuinely values you will eventually learn to respect the limits you communicate. And the people who become extremely angry simply because you established reasonable boundaries may be revealing something important about the relationship. They may have been benefiting from you having no boundaries at all. Think about that carefully. The moment you begin saying no, you may discover who respects you and who only liked how available you were. And here is the beautiful part. As you start setting boundaries, your confidence begins to grow too. You stop feeling like you are constantly trapped by other people's expectations. You start making choices instead of simply reacting to demands. You feel lighter. You feel more in control. You have more energy for the people and things that genuinely matter. And slowly, you begin surrounding yourself with people who appreciate you without requiring you to abandon yourself. If you want to know whether a relationship is healthy, watch what happens when you calmly say no. That reaction can tell you more than 100 promises ever could. In the end, boundaries teach people how you expect to be treated. They communicate a powerful message. I matter. My needs matter. My time matters. And I will not continue accepting treatment that goes against my values. Wise women do not wait for someone else to give them permission to create boundaries. They understand that protecting their energy is not a luxury, it is necessary. And the same principle applies to confidence. Confidence is not something you are simply born with. It is something you develop through experience, action, and self-trust. Wise women understand that confidence is not only about appearance, the way you speak, or how comfortable you seem in a room. It is about how you carry yourself when nobody is applauding. It is about trusting your judgment, standing behind your decisions, and existing in the world without constantly apologizing for who you are. The truth is that confidence is not always a feeling. Sometimes it is a decision. It is choosing, day after day, to believe that you are worthy, capable, and enough, even during the moments when you do not feel particularly strong. One of the biggest mistakes women make is waiting to feel confident before taking action. They tell themselves, "I'll speak up when I feel more prepared," or "I'll take that opportunity when I finally feel ready." But smart women understand the truth. Action often comes before confidence. You become confident by doing the thing that scares you, learning from it, and then doing it again. Every time you show up while feeling uncertain, every time you speak even though your voice feels shaky, and every time you take a chance without knowing exactly how things will turn out, you prove something important to yourself. You prove that you can move forward without having every answer. You prove that discomfort does not mean danger. You prove that you can trust yourself to handle whatever comes next. That is how confidence is built, not by waiting, by practicing. But now we need to address one of the biggest enemies of confidence, self-doubt. It is that quiet voice inside your mind that says,